When a team led by Lou Holtz took the field, they were always prepared to win. Throughout a coaching career that spanned more than 4 decades, the College Football Hall of Famer cemented his reputation as a motivator and program builder. At each stop along the way, Holtz implemented his plan and focused on the basics, never more famously than when he fulfilled his childhood dream of leading the University of Notre Dame, taking over the decorated program in 1986 that had fallen on hard times. He started a timeless tradition, the now iconic sign, "Play like a champion today." And in just his 3rd season in South Bend, Holtz rebuilt the Fighting Irish into an undefeated powerhouse, winning the national championship. After a final stop at South Carolina, an opportunity to coach with his son Skip, Holtz spent the rest of his career as a broadcaster, injecting his energy, quick wit, and sharp analysis into ESPN's college football coverage.
So there's a rule in life that said you're either growing or you're dying. The tree's either growing or it's dying. So's grass, so's a marriage, so's a business, so's a person. Doesn't have a thing to do with age. My birthday candles cost more than a cake. But it has everything to do, am I trying to get better? Am I trying to prove we got on top and say, you know, this is pretty good, let's maintain it. Let's not take any risk. We finished 2nd in the country at Notre Dame. Everybody called me an idiot. Guy finishes last in medical school, they call him doctor. That doesn't seem fair. When I left Notre Dame, I never thought I'd coach again. Where'd you go from Notre Dame? According to my mother, you go directly to heaven, you sit by the Pope. You don't coach anymore. And then I went to live in a town where the average age was deceased. And what I found out, I wasn't tired of coaching. You have to have something to hope for, something to dream. And even though you've done great things so far, what's going to happen now? I want to give you a simple plan. Life doesn't have to be complicated. I wish I knew those 3 rules when I was 21. I've used them for the last 40 years. There's a statue of me at Notre Dame. I guess they need a place for the pigeons to land, but if you go look at it, just don't look at 3 words on the pedestal. Trust, commitment, love.
Somebody big just died. Legendary Notre Dame football coach Lou Holtz is dead at 89 years old. And my friend Mike North is here to help eulogize him. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Joe. Good to talk to you. And we'll get to Lou Holtz in just a minute. One of the best who ever did what he did, whatever it was he did.
That's right.
Because he did more than one thing. But you know what? There's people that do one thing and do it well. One of them's Cumberland Chapel's funeral home, ladies and gentlemen. 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, the Lupos, the Martinos, Norwich, Illinois. CumberlandChapels.com. Plenty of space, serving families with dignity and grace. And I didn't mean it to rhyme, but that is the truth. Bottom line is, it'll take you through the tough times, bring you out on the hopefully a little bit easier times, but always tough. Make your remembrance that when you have somebody laid out, cremated, or what have you, like these people here, that it's done with dignity and with grace. There it is. Cumberland Chapels, folks, right there in Norwich. Takes up the whole place. 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, 5 chapels, and gets it done. Then afterwards, you go to the dinner for the after the funeral, or you go to a wedding rehearsal. They do it all. Private parties, or you want to just go out for some mahi-mahi, or you want to hang out with your buddies. You want to talk about the game coming up. You want to watch a game. You want to hang out. You want to have something good to eat, but you want to meet somebody on the other side. There's only 2 genders, and 2 of them are at Pennyville Station, ladies and gentlemen, featuring 2 genders. And then we got Jesse Rogers and we got Tony Antonacci, the lead dog there. And then Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Tino Antonacci, 112 South Main Street. And then you have the happy hour, which is 3 hours. You just don't get to take it in brown bag and take it home to mama. No, you have the 250 Blue Point oysters on the half shelf, served with cocktail sauce and raw horseradish. The $6 truffle fries, cauliflower, the Veggie Rocks, pod stickers, the filet sliders, outstanding and free. Yingling! And Tito's frozen for $8. So,
boom.
Just like that, we get it in, we get it out, but they don't forget the damn ads, because that's where it's at.
That's right.
Right there. porridge. You go over to Norwich and you check out Cumberland Chapels. Well, not until you really have to, and then check it out at Pennyville Station whenever you want to. All right. All I'm going to say is that Lou Holtz, it's almost like we talked about Wikipedia the other day being long. It's not really long. Lou didn't share a whole lot except motivational things and later on in life. My favorite coaches by far, I mean, I was on the Big Sills show today, and Danny Sills does a great job out there in Tampa, telling me, well, everybody thinks and knows you're a Notre Dame fan. Well, I mean, if you grew up in Chicago back in the 60s, in late 50s, I'm sorry, you're a Notre Dame fan. And he went into the 70s with Theismann and all these people. I mean, you had Northwestern, you had Illinois. You know, you have Big Ten football out here, but it wasn't that glamorous. Notre Dame was the New York Yankees. The then San Francisco 49ers, which is a great dynasty in the past, and now New England maybe. As far as America's type teams. But Notre Dame was on sad times, and we'll get to Notre Dame and those sad times. But we got to talk about Lou Holtz, 1937, born on January 6th, died March 4th at 89. Joe and I had joked, jokingly, because you know what? It is somebody big just died. You're honored to be on the show. You did something in your life. But we also don't bar you from things that, you know, are painful, like we can get to later, that Lou Holtz was a cheater, okay, in college football. I mean, that's just, we take the good and the bad, but we spend at least a half an hour honoring a great man. But great people have flaws. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got flaws. Everybody's got the four corners, as my deal would be. You got four corners of the room, but the one corner you don't want nobody to know about. Okay, so the other three corners you could check out and see what you got. But that one corner, you know, there's a few things that happen maybe I didn't want to see happen. You know, I mean, everybody's seen The Fugitive. Okay, nobody wanted to know the situation. The one-hand man, but this guy says it's true. I mean, when kid growing up, it was like the White Sox or the Cubs in Chicagoland. It was the Bears, Notre Dame.
That's it.
There was no Bulls for me growing up. The Blackhawks, of course. As we got,
you watch them on TV, though.
Yeah, I mean, they were on the road. But Lou Holtz was a great guy. And let me get on Wikipedia here, because his early life and all that other nonsense, nobody cares. All right, we told you he was born. We told you when he died, okay? To be honest with you, he played at Kent State. He was a linebacker. Now, this guy looks like the prison snitch. This guy looks like the guy in White Heat that almost dropped the big engine on top of James Cagney, or looks like the one guy, the arsonist in The Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds, you know? Instead, he was as imposing and as good a coach with demeanor to match and class as I've ever seen. And I've seen them all. I've seen Bear Bryant. I mean, you want to talk college football coaches, from Adelino to Bear Bryant to Lou Holtz, Ara Parsegian, even the coaches, Frank Leahy's always overlooked at Notre Dame. Always overlooked. And he was as big as Knute Rockne. They didn't want Holtz to get as big as Knute Rockne, okay? Lou did have some problems, and then he did win a national championship. We'll get to that, because he had the standards actually lowered, because the people that he was only able to recruit against most other colleges, those kids could play for him, except at Notre Dame. I think it was Prop 47 or Prop 48 back in the day. Guys like Chris Zorich got in. Okay, Chris has told me he was eating, government cheese on the South Side. Come from a poor family, didn't have the grades that you normally have to have, but he did take his testing and he did graduate from Notre Dame. But that's because Lou Holtz was allowed to drop the standards. Now, once you drop the standards a little bit, you've got a bigger pool of athletes that you can go to, and everybody was cheating at the time. Believe me, they're on TV now if you want to watch, like Bruce Pearl, serial cheater, okay? You know what I'm saying? So Lou Holtz cheating was nothing big. You had to get your program to the top, okay? Bottom line is, I met Lou Holtz, and first of all, was an honor to meet him. I love him. There I am with him. And this was at a remote we did, but Lou stopped by. It was a golf outing. Me and Dan Jiggett's there. And then I and Dan interviewed him, especially me and Dan, 3-4 times over the years. And then I did a show on the South Side. Joe might be familiar with it. Riley's daughter. Back in
the at Midway Airport too.
Yeah, back in the mid-90s, me and Lou. And I show up to do it. The show starts, I think, about 4:30 or something, 5. And I'm at the score. And they take, well, Lou's in this other room. He doesn't want to go out right away. There's a lot of people around, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you want to go in and say hi? I go in and there's Lou Holtz by himself. Guy looks like he's like 5'9", about 125 nothing pounds. You know? I go, Lou, how you doing? And he might as well have been a giant. Look at him. Now, at that point, I'm about 200, 197. Dan's much bigger, of course. But Lou's like half of me, almost. So, but he had this charisma and aura that, in my eyes, when I got to sit and talk to him for 20, 25 minutes alone, we're sitting at a table, I'm having a Diet Coke or probably at that time a beer, what have you. And the stuff he told me and everything else, you know, was beautiful. Then we did the show and it was great in front of a ton of people, but he couldn't have been a nicer guy. Now, the thing that made him is what made guys like Billy Martin. You take them and you put them on different teams, and guess what they do? They win. I don't care if Billy Martin went to Minnesota, they win. Detroit, they win. You know, Oakland, they win. The Yankees, they win. There's certain Bobby Knight, Texas Tech, all of a sudden can win. Bobby Knight went there. You know, other coaches, I mean, that are just great at what they do. Okay. Well, Lou Holtz was really, he grew up in East Liverpool, Ohio. His career started in 1960 as a graduate assistant at Iowa. Now, he went to William and Mary as a coach there. I'll tell you his record after a while here. North Carolina State. Okay. He had a 33-12-3 record at North Carolina State. Who does that?
Wow.
Who does that? North Carolina State. Nobody. Okay. He put that sign in. You know, everybody would like to tell you Newt Rockney did. Then Lou got the big bug to coach in the pros and was destroyed. He was horrible, folks. Lou was horrible. You haven't heard that on too many shows. That's because it's not somebody big just died, those other shows.
That's right.
It's somebody big just died, but we tell it all. And Lou did not do a good job with the Jets. And Lou Holtz said upon his departure, God did not put Lou Holtz on this earth to coach in the pros. So that was the last you'd ever see of him. He went to Arkansas. Outstanding job. 60-21-2. Come on. That's on crazy. Now. Minnesota. Okay record. But for Minnesota, they're in a bowl game, for God's sake. He only did that once, and he won some big ball games. But then he went to Notre Dame in 1986. And Notre Dame, folks, I can tell you all about it. I was back in 86. I was feeling no pain. I could stay up for 3 days, play poker without any sleep, drink till I didn't get tired. Okay. Walk so crooked that I'd end up walking straight. Okay. Drive from the passenger side with my feet and still make it home. Okay.
Oh, my.
My life was a shambles, but not as much of a shambles as Notre Dame was before Lou Holtz got there, huh? In 1986. Come on. They were dogs. And Lou Holtz got his dream job. Joe liked that.
Rebuilt the whole team from the ground up.
Rebuilt that whole team. And just has left a legacy there. And then he retires. He gets bored. He goes, you know what? First of all, the guy became a great speaker with a lisp is against all norms. Take it from a guy who can speak, but it's against all norms. But second, if you're coming out of retirement, do you go back to South Carolina? Yeah, because he wants to coach with his kid. And what does he do over there? He wins. They went 0-11 the first season, and then after that, he ended up winning for the most part, going 17-7 over 2 years. and helping South Carolina. Wherever he went, news followed him. That's what made Lou Holtz great too. He was like the show. He was the straw that stirred the drink. He was a media darling, and him and Notre Dame were perfect for each other. I could tell, just like Ara Parseghian was perfect for Notre Dame at the time. Lou Holtz, you needed somebody to reclaim it. But here's the problem with Lou Holtz. Almost every school he had problems. That's all I'll say. Look it up on Wikipedia. Almost every school, not all, but almost every school. Notre Dame, South Carolina did not, I don't believe, have a whole lot of problems. Arkansas, he had problems. But they were all cheating at the time. But somebody had it out for Lou Holtz because every time he got caught. Okay? And yet then he goes and he finally calls it quits. And then he does to Dr. Lou, and he does his show with Mark May, and I like Mark May a lot. I'm sorry, I missed those Lou Holtz and Mark May. They should have kept those guys together there. Did a great job with ESPN. And
He did.
I'll tell you what, it was one of those. I don't look forward to too much that ESPN does anymore. College Game Day wears me down. I don't like most of the people on it anyway. Both college men and college women. I don't like any of you, so that's okay. I know you'll say you don't care, but take it from me. I watch a lot of TV. It sucks and it's old. Okay, and with guys like Lee Corso gone and Lou Holtz now and people like that, there was debate taken up. These two guys were great. Lou Holtz actually walked off the set one day. His personal life. He was married to Beth Barkus, her name, which became Beth Holtz, in 1961.
God bless.
And she died in 2020, and it had to be painful as hell. Because the longer you know someone, the harder it is. That's the legacy he leaves, that nice family there. He's on the Catholic Advisory Board. He entered hospice on January 30th, 2026. So my remembrance of Lou, and I don't think Jimmy Johnson has exchanged messages with the Holtz family, but I know there was no love lost between those two, period. He said, you know what, go kick Miami's ass and leave Jimmy Johnson for me. They had a war of words, but the Catholics First Convicts was one of the great promotions ever in the history of all sports, let alone the history of college football. So I know I can talk, and I'll ask Joe now. Joe got wins, losses, and lessons. Well, you know what? I'll write mine in a coloring book form or with crayon, because he's an inspirational guy, Joe. And I think there was more to the man afterwards than he was as a football coach, but he was an entertainer, and he was good at both. He could have been a gospel preacher, don't you think?
I agree. I mean, this is a motivational speaker. This is a leader of men, Mike. Mm-hmm. And he's just a guy that when you hear him talk, you just want to go run through a wall for him. You really do.
Yeah.
And that's what guys did.
He's scrawny. He's like 5'9", about 150 or something. I mean, he looks like the prison snitch, like I said earlier, so you know what, Joe and Joe did a good job putting the pictures together. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you tell your friends, and they can get it on YouTube, Spotify, Mortify, Objectify, and everything else that you got in between, plus North to North and at the bar room, Eldo. God bless you, buddy. And on behalf of Joe Mandel and behalf of Cumberland Chapels and Pennyville, that's right, Joe always has his hands folded. Joe's always on the prowl. So, if somebody big just died, he'll find you. There's no doubt about it. And I'll hear about it. We'll give out our secret password, which nobody knows, which is Dakota. Okay?
That's right, Dakota.
You guys have a good one. And remember, dying's it. But you know what? Living before you're dying is where it's at. Say good night, everybody.